in the circumstances where I watched Hunter x Hunter for the first time, just everything about it made me love it. And even though that has been replicated with other shows that I've watched, it just never will hit the same as Hunter x Hunter. There are so many reasons for why I love Hunter x Hunter so much. First, I want to talk about how I came to know Hunter x Hunter, because it was so prevalent before I watched it. Because for like a straight year before I watched Hunter x Hunter, every single person I asked what their favorite anime was, they would say Hunter x Hunter. And I would be like, oh, that's on my watch list. I've been meaning to watch that. I'll watch it eventually, you know? And within a week, there was like 3 people I had been talking to consistently just talking about how Hunter x Hunter was their favorite anime and manga, and I was like, okay, I need to watch this show. And so I sat down, and I literally didn't sleep. I watched all of Hunter x Hunter in 4 or 5 days. It 148 episodes in 4 or 5 days. Like, I remember this because I sat down and watched it. I started watching it one night, and then I didn't stop. Like, I had school and stuff, but anytime I was not in school, I would watch Hunter x Hunter. I would get very little sleep just to finish the series because I needed to know what happened next. And I just remember when my reactions for the arcs, because I literally couldn't contain it. I would go up to my little brother or someone, and I'd just be like, oh man, it's so good. It's amazing. I love this series. And 5 days. It's still insane for me to think about how many episodes I watched, but I know it was less than a week, and I didn't stop. From what I remember, I just kept going. I just needed to finish it that quickly. And of course, it's such a good series. The reason why Hunter x Hunter took such a hold on me was because Hunter x Hunter was really sandwiched in between some of the worst years of my life. And I think I was like 14 or 15 when I started watching Hunter x Hunter. And I know that about a year before the worst year in my entire life, or the worst months of my entire life, I watched Hunter x Hunter. And I know that because during that time I was collecting all of the Hunter x Hunter manga. And so when I go back to rewatch Hunter x Hunter, when I go back to rewatch any anime I've watched, I'm at a different place in life, and I just remember the time I was at when I first watched that show, or whenever I've rewatched it. And I've reread Hunter x Hunter many, many times. It was a thing where, like, it would be like a couple months since I last rewatched or reread Hunter x Hunter, and I'm like, oh, it's that time again. I told myself I'm gonna rewatch this series like every year because it's my favorite. It's so good, and everything from Hunter x Hunter, to the music, to the dialogue, to everything, it just holds such a special place in my heart. Because the reason why Hunter x Hunter was such a highlight to me is because it was the first series in months that grabbed me in that way, and it made me so genuinely happy for months after. And every time I picked it up, it just made me so happy. It was something that, like, it was truly like one of the highlights of my life at a point, because I had been so depressed for years and been using anime as a coping mechanism. And at this point I've watched over 200 anime, or about 200 anime, and I just wouldn't stop. I needed to continue a series immediately after the last one just to keep myself distracted. And that's how I became such a giant weeb, is because I just used it as a distraction. But Hunter x Hunter made me stop. Hunter x Hunter made me pause episodes. It made me react in genuine happiness. It made me think about life. It changed my life too. So when I first watched Hunter x Hunter, I had many of my friends recommend it to me, and I watched it all, like, very quickly. And the day I finished Hunter x Hunter, I think, or a few days after I finished Hunter x Hunter, I met someone new. She was an acquaintance of one of she was an acquaintance of a friend I had known for a long time. and I just literally couldn't hold it in. Like, this was someone I barely knew. I think I had known her for a little bit at that time. I just poured out, like, my love for Hunter x Hunter to her just because I was an oozing, ticking time bomb of just needing to share about Hunter x Hunter. And she listened. And when I saw her the next week, she had also finished Hunter x Hunter. And we really bonded over that. And that was one of the friendships that I really needed, and a friendship that I still have. And actually led me to the best friend group I've ever had in my life. And that friend group is my Bible study. So Hunter x Hunter brought me closer to Jesus. There you go. No, I'm kidding. But like, it's things like that that makes Hunter x Hunter so special to me. Because not only did Hunter x Hunter give me joy and brought me to one of the best friend groups in my life, but it also made me so excited in things that I was learning. But when I watched Hunter x Hunter, or when I started watching before I watched it, I remember that I was feeling super demotivated in every single thing I had been doing. It's a slump that I've gone in like several times in my life where I would just not want to do anything and have no motivation for life in general. And I just remember how happy I was. And I had been learning Japanese for a couple years before watching Hunter x Hunter, and I had still sometimes watched dubbed anime. Sometimes I would watch the sub, sometimes I would watch the dub. After I watched Hunter x Hunter, I switched to mainly watching subbed anime, and the reason why is because Hunter x Hunter was the first anime where I could understand what they were saying in Japanese. And I would literally pause the video and rewind it, just because I was like, oh man, I can understand them, like, slightly. But I have memorized, like, a lot of the Japanese dialogue in Hunter x Hunter, simply because the first time I was watching Hunter x Hunter, I just remember being like, oh, I understand what they're saying. Like, it was the first time I realized that me learning Japanese was actually working. I had been learning Japanese for a couple years at that point, and I had never had the intention of ever going to Japan or speaking Japanese. I was only learning Japanese because it gave me something to do, and I just wanted to improve my brain. And I knew that learning a language did that, and that was one of the reasons why I started learning Japanese. But watching Hunter x Hunter in the Japanese dub, it did so much for me in terms of it really motivated me in learning Japanese, because for the first time in my life, I could hear someone talking in a different language and understand it, or for at least a couple of sentences. And that was so huge for me. I was like, oh, they're saying this word and I know that vocab word, and it really motivated me after that to get right into my Japanese learning and learn more. And it made me realize that I really did love learning other languages. And another thing is Hunter x Hunter's music is really good, and after Hunter x Hunter it motivated me to get back into music. So Hunter x Hunter really, it motivated me to get back into music and even back into writing stories, and really Hunter x Hunter reignited like motivation in me when I watched it. And that's another reason why I just love it so much. And like, of course, another reason I love Hunter x Hunter so much is the story. Obviously, it's an anime. Gonna say it's the story. But I just remember how much I related to Killua so much. Like, every single thing Killua was dealing with, I just related so much to him so much on like a personal level. And I think that also really sold the show on me, is just because I saw myself in Killua so much. Like, every single arc, everything he had to deal with, I could see myself in him. I remember I would just pause episodes like during Hunter x Hunter, and I would just think about like what the characters were doing and just what the dialogue and what they were saying, just because I realized it just reflected so much of my own life and what I was feeling. And I used anime as a means to escape from my life. But one of the reasons I loved Hunter x Hunter so much is it really got me to think about what's important. How do I want to go about the rest of my life, and how do I deal with things in the past? It really helps me cope with what was happening around me. And another thing is, I remember after being obsessed with the series for months, I just broke down one day as I was just rewatching the series or just rereading the series, and I prayed to God. And I prayed to God to give me a friend. Like, I prayed to God to give me a good friendship like Gon and Killua had. Now, of course, they don't have their friendship isn't perfect, not throughout the story, but it's something that I really realized while watching Hunter x Hunter, is that in my life at that time, I never really had a close friend. I never really had a close friend or someone I could rely on, and it wasn't even just Killua and Gon's relationship, but it was like Killua and Calgo's relationship, just a bunch of the other characters. Just friendship is obviously like a theme of Hunter x Hunter, and of course there are some friendships better than others in Hunter x Hunter and all those relationships and everything, but it was seeing those friendships in Hunter x Hunter and me realizing that I didn't have anyone like that in my life, and I never had. And I remember just breaking down one day and just praying to God to give me a friendship like they do, or just even a semblance of what they have, or of the characters that have good friendships in Hunter x Hunter. And that did happen, but watching Hunter x Hunter is such a capsule towards me, because it's in the middle of just my life in general, of just my terrible childhood that I watched Hunter x Hunter, and then a year after I had the worst year of my life. Because it's in the middle of all of that, by rewatching it, by rereading Hunter x Hunter, I re-experienced the feelings I had during that time. And because I've been consistently rereading and rewatching Hunter x Hunter for years now, it's just all those memories come back to me when I reread it. And it's something that makes me truly connected to it, and I really don't think I'll ever find a series that I'll love more than Hunter x Hunter because of this. But just the positive impact it had on my life, like just with the fact of me making friends, because I made a lot of my friends after that because of my love for Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter really got me in the door to some of my best friendships, because I'd mention I love Hunter x Hunter and I just couldn't shut up about it, and I would make friends that way. It's weird because some of my closest friends don't have the same interests as me, but a lot of my like closer friends share an interest with me of the same things. But my best friend, I used to not label best friends when I was little, but I realized that's just because I didn't have anyone to call a best friend. But my best friend in my life, I don't think she's finished Hunter x Hunter. I know that she watched some of it. I'm not sure if she's finished. I'll have to ask her if she ever finished it. But she was the one that was an answer to my prayers, because she was the first friendship I had where I actually felt like we cared for each other and we could share anything with each other. I still feel that way with her. And I think Hunter x Hunter taught me what a good and what a bad friendship is. And it's so subtle in Hunter x Hunter too, because, you know, it's never like explicitly stated how like close friends Gon and Killua are, and of course what happens after, because I'm trying to keep this video spoiler free. We'll see how long that turns out. But Hunter x Hunter was just such a pivotal part of my life. Another thing Hunter x Hunter really helped me with was just the mindset that the characters have. And this might be a really subtle thing. I don't know if anyone's made a video on it. I don't think I've ever... I actually don't... I've watched so many video essays on Hunter x Hunter, and I don't think it's ever been mentioned. But one thing I loved about Hunter x Hunter is it just seemed so freeing. Like, not just the characters, but the fact that these two boys just didn't worry about money, or... They didn't have to worry about money or a job, and of course that's just a thing of, like, being a kid. But they were able to go wherever they wanted, and they had such agency in their life. And they were able to be content with just a backpack and the clothes that they were wearing. And that mindset, like, it's something, like, I don't think is ever mentioned in the show, but just the contentness that both Gon and Killua had in terms of their well-being. Like, you never hear Gon or Killua complain about their lives in terms of what they have, in terms of what they physically possess. Like, you never hear Gon and Killua complain about what they physically possess. And that was one thing that really spoke to me, because I realized that I really just want freedom, agency, to make choices in my life, and to have contentness. contentness in the fact that as long as I'm alive, I have food, and I have clothing and everything I need, that it's okay. And Hunter x Hunter, like, told me that. Like, that's, like, really... I think that was one of the really big things that Hunter x Hunter taught me, and it's not explicitly stated anywhere. But just the contentness that Gon and Killua have, and being able to travel wherever they want, like, that really spoke to me because I just felt so stuck where I was. And even now, I come back to Hunter x Hunter a lot because I love the series. And of course, the manga isn't finished. When will it be finished? Never, probably. But, like, I love Hunter x Hunter from a storytelling perspective, of course. It's such an amazing story. I love plot twists, and there's so much plot twist in Hunter x Hunter. I literally remember my overreactions to every single plot twist in Hunter x Hunter because I was so amazed. I'm so glad I got no spoilers for Hunter x Hunter whatsoever. I was reacting to things as they were happening because I had no spoilers. I wish I could go back, memory wiped, and do it all again. Because there are some anime that I watch, because there are some anime that I love and watch, but I had spoilers for, so my first reaction of those animes was a little tainted because I didn't have a first reaction to some of those moments. But with Hunter x Hunter, I went in completely blind. Like, I knew nothing of the story when I watched Hunter x Hunter. It's just that everyone in my life had been recommending it to me, so I finally bit the bullet and watched the show, and oh my, I was just blown away. And it became my obsession for years. Like, years, in the sense that I'm still obsessed with it. I should probably get a date on when I first watched Hunter x Hunter. I might be able to figure that out. I'll probably, like, this is more of just a rambling video, spur of the moment actually, but I'll probably make some videos, like, analyzing some of my favorite things about Hunter x Hunter, but I just wanted to talk about, like, how it emotionally affected me. It was truly a light in my life when I read it. But it was the combination of all those things. It was the combination of just it reigniting my motivation, and it really making me think about life and all the things that happened in the series. And it's still so good. Like, I wish Hunter x Hunter would be perfect if it had an ending, but I really doubt that it will. The ending of the anime is honestly a good place for the anime to end, but I love the manga too. Like, after the anime, it's so interesting and I love it. And with the revelations in the latest chapters of the characters, it just makes it so good. Killua's my favorite character. It's hard for me to remember that now because I'm so far in the manga. Killua hasn't been seen in chapters upon chapters. But Killua's my favorite character because I relate to him the most. And Kurapika used to be my second favorite character, but now Corolla is my second favorite character, hands down. It took a while to get there. Maybe I need to rewatch Hunter x Hunter again. But since the latest chapter, like, Corolla's been my favorite. Like, him and Kurapika were, like, toe-to-toe before, and now he's just... I think Corolla is my second favorite character in Hunter x Hunter now. Maybe I just need to reread it again, which I probably should. It's about that time where I should reread Hunter x Hunter. But I'm in the process of rereading Noragami, and I'm gonna have the full stack of Demon Slayer here soon, and I want to reread Demon Slayer as well. Getting manga, becoming a true weeb that I was never allowed to be before. Another thing is, I mentioned that Noragami was the first anime that I ever read, which is true. Noragami was the first anime I ever read. From manga I ever read. Anime I read, yeah. But Hunter x Hunter was the first manga that I physically got, because I think I tried, like, to just read the manga, you know, online for Hunter x Hunter, and then I was just like, no, I really like the books, like, and because I loved Hunter x Hunter so much, I just talked to everyone. I was like, please, like, it was also me, like, outing myself as a weeb a bit. I'm like, oh yeah, I've just heard of this series, you know, I'm totally not a giant weeb, but yeah, I convinced my parents somehow to let me use my, like, birthday money and everything I had to purchase Hunter x Hunter manga. And so Hunter x Hunter was the first manga that I purchased for myself, and the first books that I really had, and especially, like, a collection of books. And it took me a while to collect all of the manga because, of course, I didn't have a job then. I was still a child, and it took me a while to accumulate all the books, and that year was the hardest year of my life. Not just because I didn't have all of the Hunter x Hunter manga, but because of other things that aren't that fun. But yeah, Hunter x Hunter was still light in the tunnel, and it took me a while to get to the end of the manga, because, you know, the anime covers a lot of it, and it was nice building up, reading everything that happened in the anime, and then getting to the new stuff. And Hunter x Hunter's manga is good. You should read the Hunter x Hunter manga if you haven't. I will make videos with manga spoilers. So yeah, this was more about rambling videos. Literally spur of the moment, I decided to record because it was just on my mind, because I just watched like an hour video analysis of Hunter x Hunter again, and I was like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And Noragami, still second favorite manga. Demon Slayer, second favorite anime. But Hunter x Hunter, I think it will always be top. And when I was reading the Demon Slayer manga, I was like telling my friends, I was like, this could beat it. How naive I was, man. I was just really hyped on Demon Slayer at the time. But I got to the ending of Demon Slayer, and I was like, you know, I thought it could beat Hunter x Hunter, but no. The ending of Demon Slayer is still good. I like Demon Slayer. Now Noragami is up in terms of manga. As an anime, Demon Slayer is above Noragami. But nothing can top Hunter x Hunter. Like, of course, I love a lot of different series. Soundscape, Planet, also good. There's so many good series out there, but I think Hunter x Hunter will just tops them all. Just does everything I love in a story. I love the not happy endings in quotes. I just love that Hunter x Hunter has very, like, realistic endings for how it's set up each of the plot points for each arc. And I love how it's very character-driven and not plot-driven. And everything turns out how the characters have been set up. And I love that about Hunter x Hunter so much. But anyway, I just really wanted to talk about why Hunter x Hunter is my favorite anime. And I think I did a good job. And I don't think I mentioned anything I don't think I mentioned any spoilers, actually. So if you are watching this video and you haven't watched Hunter x Hunter, go watch it. Go read the manga. It's so good. The story, the acting, everything. Of course I recommend the sub of Hunter x Hunter because I'm just so attached to the sub actors of Hunter x Hunter. I have watched a decent amount, like the first couple of arcs in Hunter x Hunter in dub. Doesn't matter that they're Genshin voice actors, man. I love the sub of Hunter x Hunter. Always will. True sub diehard fan. But yeah. It's good. Y'all should watch it. Oh, I think I forgot to mention this earlier, but the reason why I was forced to watch Hunter x Hunter sub, forced in quotes, because there was no dub of Hunter x Hunter when I watched it. So, yeah, I've been a fan for that long. How long was that ago? That was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, I am a long-standing Hunter x Hunter fan, because it's so good. I don't know if 4 or 5 years is that old, considering it's been out before I was born. But you know. I love Hunter x Hunter. I don't know if this video made any sense, but I guess we'll find out. Anyway, bye y'all. I don't think I ever introduced myself in this video. Hola, I'm Riza. That's the end.